a lot of times I put time clocks on my time with God. And I base my time with God off of all the other things I got to do in the day. Really, he should be priority one. The rest of the things that I'm planning, all of those things don't happen without him.
I took some losses they never would know. Took the long route, they had cut me before. We was down bad, talking broken and broke. Now I'm dealing, hoping it's all for the low. Get HWL, get your dough back. Get HWL, get your dough back. Ain't selling no mid, it's a whole pack. And young and I give you the whole pack. Get HWL, get your dough back. Get HWL, get your dough back. Ain't selling no mid, it's a whole pack. And young and I give you the whole pack. For
real. Yes, sir. Welcome back to Highs with Low. It's your boy, Low. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Appreciate y'all for watching this episode in advance. And y'all, honestly, this just hit my spirit, like right before we started recording. I've been really tapped in with the Lord recently, even more than I ever have. And so this episode and this high that we're bringing you for this week is actually inspired by Philip Anthony Mitchell and Pastor Tim Timberlake. So about a month ago, my wife and I went to the Street Preachers podcast. They came here. And if you're not familiar, Philip Anthony Mitchell and Tim Timberlake have a joint podcast titled Street Preachers. And they just got done with a tour that they've been on. They went to, excuse me if I'm wrong, I feel like between 10 to 15 different cities, and they did a live podcast tour. And so I immediately, I needed in on that. And so my wife and I went, and I can't even explain the experience. Like, it was one I've never had. I've had these experiences, but it was one of few for sure, where I knew for a fact that the Holy Spirit was in the room. I could feel it. My wife can tell you I'm not super, and this is changing actually, but traditionally in the history, I haven't been somebody that's crazy moved by the music portion of, church and of praise and worship. Praise and worship didn't really always do it for me so much. I used to actually like intentionally get there late just so I can get to the word. And that has been changing recently. But when I tell you, man, shout out to Elevation Praise and Worship team, that gentleman that was in there, it was amazing. And so the Spirit was already in there. And then Philip and Tim, once they began the podcast, Philip decided to talk about, and Tim decided to talk about prayer in your prayer life. And they both begin to describe what their prayer lives look like individually. To sum it up, Philip's was really intimate. He has a space in his home he goes to where it's so powerful now in that space. And he's had so many long encounters with Jesus that he said he can feel the presence building as he gets closer to his space. And when he opens the door, it's almost like God is already in there waiting for him and he can feel his presence. Now, I'll say for the folks that aren't in the spirit that heavy, this can sound a little bit overly. I get it. But this is really real, okay? And so Tim Timberlake says he has his prayer time at his dinner table or his dining room table. And it's almost like he's meeting God at the table. And it gets really deep for him and really emotional. He pours out. And they both just talked about how on any given day, they can just be sitting there crying and pouring out and just like releasing everything that's been on them. Their prayer time is also calculated. Tim Timberlake's is from 12 to 4 a.m., 12 a.m. to 4 a.m., middle of the night. Most of us on our second, third dream. Philip's is from 4. It starts at 4 o'clock. And his is like a start. He don't got to stop because he said he's been in that prayer time and in that space with God for hours before, to where, man, like it's already like afternoon. Which, if you know Philip Anthony Mitchell, if you watch him, you could probably guess that he's really on that. And so it really challenged me because I don't know if you're like this, but a lot of times I put time clocks on my time with God. And I base my time with God, or I used to base my time with God off of all the other things I got to do in the day, as if those things are more important than this time with God. And it began to make me feel really guilty about the fact that I had been making him priority 2, 3, 4 sometimes, when really he should be priority one. The rest of the things that I'm planning, I'm kind of putting his time away for, all of those things don't happen without him. Shout out to Dr. Shamari White, Pastor White. Dr. Show was talking about it one day at church. Have Life Church, by the way, pull up, Charlotte, North Carolina. But Dr. Show was talking to us about how we should be tithing and how he gave a live example. He had a box of pizza, and it was like 12 slices of pizza. And he said, God's asking for this one slice. It was 10 slices of pizza. He said, God's asking for this one slice. You still got 9. You going to be hungry? You still got 9 slices over there. That's greedy. I feel like it's the same thing with the time. God's not asking for all day. He's not asking for 24 hours. He just wants you to meet him. He just wants us to be intentional with him. He wants to feel special. I remember I was talking to my brother, and we were having a conversation, and we were just our iron sharpening iron, just having one of those good convos about getting better and tapping in more. And I told him, I'm like, bro, you not spending time with God or not praying or not going to God is like him being at a dinner table waiting for you to show up and you never show. And he's sitting there and he's looking across at the table and nobody's there. And he just keeps getting excited, but he keeps showing up. God does not show up. He's always at the table waiting for us. And so I have decided I am going to spend way, way, way more time coming to the table and not just pulling up to the table and be like, all right, God, I'm here. We got 10 minutes. What you want to do? What you want to talk about? I'm at least giving myself time that if it goes to an hour, that's just what it is. Like, he deserves more than an hour. So I'm going to give him this hour strong. If it goes to 2 hours, that's cool. And that could be challenging some days. But now that I've switched my mindset around it, I've seen hour-long worship sessions. I've gone over, right? Sometimes it's been 15 minutes, and that's all I needed that day. But what I would tell you is, the moral of the story is, get more intentional about your time with God, your prayer time, your worship, your praise. It don't have to have a certain agenda attached. Man, you can go to a quiet space, meet him, and honestly just talk. There's times where I'm on the way to the gym. I go to the gym every morning at 5 a.m. Shout out to A-Red Workouts. And on the way there, I imagine Jesus in my passenger seat. And I'm just having regular conversation with him, talking about my week, talking about how I'm feeling. And it sounds super conversational. And if that's too much for you, if that's a little airy, a little weird for you, you'll understand one day, hopefully, prayerfully. But for me, that helps me with the different variations of how I spend my time with him. There's times where I am drenched in emotion and I'm crying and I'm crying and I'm crying and I'm crying and I'm spilling out. But there's times where that emotion doesn't hit me the same and I'm not on that. So I just want to feel like I'm having a conversation. I'd rather talk, and I'll talk. There's no limitations on how you receive and how you encounter Jesus Christ. There's no limitations on that. So just spend time with him. Prioritize that time with him and be more intentional this week. Start today, right after this. Go to a quiet space. It don't matter if it's people in your crib. Go to a closet. Go to a bathroom. Close the door and spend some time with Christ. All right? So, y'all, I hope this blessed you, and I hope that from today on you're more intentional about your time with God and that you give him exactly what he deserves, because he does deserve more time with you, and he's waiting for you. All right? Be sure to subscribe, like, comment. I appreciate y'all. Until the next time, HWL. Made it out. I remember sleeping at my mama's house. Ran it up. I was stacking up while they was popping out. Stay down.